It's 8 p.m. and here are our top stories.
It's a polar plunge across Colorado for the rest of the week.
An Arctic cold front has arrived and temperatures are plummeting overnight. I'm tracking the bitter cold and just how much snow to expect.
5 people found dead after unknowingly using drugs laced with fentanyl.
Fentanyl's no good, man. It's the devil. It's no good, man. Don't do it.
Now officials fear more could be out there.
These folks died almost instantaneously. It's a frightening drug.
New concerns over understaffing and dangerous delays at Denver Health.
We know it. We've seen it. These reports are exactly what we see in the streets.
Tonight, firefighters sounding the alarm, saying something needs to change to fix this problem.
Plus, international fears of a Russian invasion escalating.
We believe the Russians are planning will be extremely violent. It will cost the lives of Ukrainians and Russians, civilians and military personnel alike.
The winter air has moved in and it's here to stay. It's shaping up to be a weather action week and it could be some time before we get above freezing levels again. Well, good evening and thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Jessica Porter.
I'm Danny New. Remember this weekend when it was 60 degrees? Yeah, that was a fun time. Well, we just casually saw a 40-degree drop from our high today, and it's not coming back anytime soon.
Denver 7's Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson joining us now. Mike, if the cold wasn't enough, we're getting some snow as well.
We do have some snow coming in, and the cold is certainly taking hold. And Danny, as the newer person on the staff, I'm so delighted they didn't send you out in the cold. I know they used to do that to me way back when I started, but it was a lot more dangerous because we had woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers back then to worry about.
That's not nice to you, Mike.
Times have changed,
young
Mike.
Buck.
Okay, so let me show you. In the record books today, it will go down that we had a high of 55 degrees, but the low by midnight is going to be way down, probably in the single digits. We're 11 right now after the cold front has passed by, and if you combine the wind in there, it feels like 6 below zero on exposed skin. Look at Sterling. 24 below zero wind chill right now. That cold front has pushed all the way down into the southern portions of the state and out west. There's moisture coming into the west. That's where most of the snow is going to be with this storm, and that's where the winter storm warnings and the winter weather advisories in effect. We have a wind chill advisory on the eastern plains over the next couple of days because of the cold temperatures. This is what it looks like along the Front Range. We had some snow. I think we get it maybe an inch overnight at the most. You can see that dusting up in the Boulder area. But our headlines are, Denver goes from Denver to Denver over the next few days. Periods of light snow off and on into Wednesday night. Below zero temperatures by Wednesday morning. And much heavier snow expected for the mountains. I'll focus on how much we can expect to see as far as snow and just how low we're going to go coming up here in about 10 minutes.
Check back in. Thank you, Mike. And remember, you don't need to wait on us to get your forecast. Our Denver 7 weather team is always updating on our website, thedenverchannel.com.
A lethal dose of a drug they likely had no idea they were taking. 5 people in Commerce City thought that they had bought cocaine for the weekend. Instead, the Adams County DA says that they got that and a deadly dose of fentanyl along with it.
Denver 7's Russell Haythorne reports a family is grieving tonight, but also warning others about this killer in our community.
And I don't want to use it.
On the porch of his home in North Denver,
All my kids are good kids.
Dan Marquez still can't believe it.
It still really seems like it's a dream or whatever, you know, it's just not reality.
It's a heartbreaking amount of loss. Dan's son, Sam, gone, as well as his daughter-in-law, Karina, his son-in-law, and 2 of Karina's friends. All 5 died this weekend in a tragic drug overdose inside Sam and Karina's Commerce City apartment.
My wife was really worried about it. Kept calling them and no answers. We all have cell phones. We all call their cell phones. No answer. My stepdaughter went in there and the door was open. She walked in. They're all laying on the floor, man.
The DA has confirmed it was fentanyl. Dan says they thought they were doing cocaine. What they got was a lethal dose of something much more powerful.
Fentanyl's no good, man. It's the devil.
No one was able to get to a phone and call 911 for a medical emergency.
It must have just took them just like that.
So it happened pretty quickly.
All 5 of them.
Dan's grown daughter, Cora, somehow survived.
It's going around here. don't do any of that.
So did a baby, Sam and Karina's newborn daughter, Aria, found by Selena in a bedroom.
Baby wasn't crying at all. So she goes in the room and she must have heard Selena and baby started crying. So I think maybe there was an angel or somebody in there taking care of her.
A tragedy beyond words.
Sam, he's a good guy. He's 24, loved his job, always talking about his job, talking about his new daughter. He loved his daughter. Said, that's the new love of my life.
Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
Such incredible loss for that family. Police continue to investigate where those drugs came from. The DA is promising to pursue charges against anyone involved.
And Colorado law enforcement is finding the synthetic opioid in everything from heroin and cocaine to Adderall sold on the streets. Taking a closer look, District Attorney Brian Mason says building a criminal case will be difficult because police can't interview the 5 people who died to find out who gave them the drugs. So he's worried that there may be more of this batch out there.
My heart sank about 5 people in my community dying, and I am terrified and fearful that other people will get a similar batch or have some drugs from the same batch that these folks had and not know what they're taking and die as well.
And in Denver, you can now order fentanyl test strips from the Department of Public Health and Environment so you know exactly what you're putting in your system. But Mason says that the tests aren't always accurate because the chemistry of fentanyl can actually change from day to day. So in reality, your best bet to avoid a deadly fentanyl overdose is to avoid street drugs altogether.
The National Institute on Drug Abuse says last year 75% of cocaine overdoses were laced with fentanyl. Here in Colorado, just over 800 drug overdose deaths from last year specifically involved fentanyl. In Colorado, it's currently a misdemeanor for someone to be in possession of 4 milligrams of the drug, but it only takes half of that amount to kill someone. Back in December, Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser said he wanted to update laws and raise penalties for drug dealers with fentanyl. He also wants to start a grant program to help agencies better investigate and prosecute fentanyl distributors. Governor Jared Polis also supports these measures. A spokesperson for the governor's office says lawmakers need to act on a comprehensive approach to address the dangers of fentanyl, including increased criminal penalties. As of tonight, no such fentanyl-related bill has been introduced in the legislature. If you or someone you know needs help, we have links to addiction hotlines and how to order free fentanyl testing strips. You can find all of that information right now on thedenverchannel.com.
When you call 911 needing help, you would hope to get a quick response. And tonight, Denver firefighters are raising concerns about dangerous understaffing and delays by Denver health paramedics.
Denver 7's chief investigative reporter Tony Kovaleski has been following this story for months and joins us with the details.
Our investigation uncovered insider emails from Denver firefighters frustrated with response times from paramedics at Denver Health. They tell the story of what happened last year, and we ask the questions. What happened, why, and why were patients waiting for paramedics?
These things need to be said. These stories need to come out.
What do these emails say?
They speak volumes. I get the frustrations. I agree with the frustrations because I've been on those calls too.
How common are delayed, extremely delayed response times from Denver Health?
It feels regular. And the problem is I don't have the data, we don't have the information to know how often it actually happens. But talk to any firefighter, talk to any paramedic. They know it happens all the time.
Based on our reporting, would you say we identified a problem?
I would say based on your report, you identified numerous problems.
Our investigation dives into this critical issue because when you call 911 in Denver, you want a paramedic there fast. We invite you to tune to Denver 7 at 10 for our complete investigation. I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski.
Thank you, Tony. And we have an update on a story many of us are worried about right now, the rapidly developing situation in Ukraine. We now know the UN Security Council is holding an emergency meeting as Russia moves full speed ahead with military preps at the Ukrainian border. Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered troops to eastern Ukraine after formally recognizing rebel regions. Putin says this is to, quote, maintain peace. But the U.S. and allies warn every indication shows that Russia is preparing to invade.
These are not the actions of a Russian government fulfilling its repeated declarations that it has no intention of invading Ukraine.
The White House says President Biden will soon issue an executive order that will prohibit new U.S. investments, trades, and financing to or from the rebel regions of Ukraine. As of right now, those sanctions do not apply to Russia. The U.S. is also encouraging Ukraine's president to move to the western part of the country for his own safety.
Bitter cold by morning across much of northeast Colorado. In a few minutes, I'll let you know how much snow to expect by morning.
Temperatures are plummeting, and plumbers are ready to be busy this week.
We have a 65-degree day like we did yesterday, and they use the hose, and then it hits, and then they got a problem.
We share some tips on how to protect your home from a winter weather nightmare.
Plus, a crypto co-op is teaming up to bid on the Broncos.
It's basically to raise money to buy the Denver Broncos and put the ownership into the hands of the fans.
We speak to the person leading the charge to bring blockchain business to the Mile High City.
We have a lot of faith that it can be something that will be successful.